for HamNation on YouTube. 85 now.
Hello and welcome to HamNation, episode 563 for January 3rd, 2024. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Just hanging in there. I got sick. I spent the New Year sick and days before that sick as well, so I'm going to try to be liberal with the cough button so you guys don't have to hear me cough. So that means we're kicking it right over to say hi to our illustrious host. First episode of the new year. How's everybody doing? Starting at the top. Gordo, how are you, sir?
Happy New Year to all. We are fine, and tonight we're heading into space along with Orlando.
It's a good Orlando also involved in space. That's very true. Yeah. Don, how are you today?
I'm good. What episode is this?
Oh, boy. 563.
Wow.
I'm not that old. How can it be 563?
You are that
Oh, wait,
old.
I'm sorry. Amanda's not that old.
That's right.
I'm that old.
I'm
great, Josh. New Year's Eve was good. It was uneventful, which is a good thing, I guess. You know, we stayed close to the house, went over and had a little party at my brother-in-law's, but that's not why you called in. We've got a great show tonight. We're going to talk with, like we said, talk about space and all kinds of stuff. And speaking of space, you know, the sun's up in space, and the sun had a conniption fit over New Year's, and Dr. Tamitha Skov is going to be along via video right after the Newsline news piece to tell us what happened. It was the largest solar flare of this sunspot cycle, and she'll tell you all about it coming up, Josh.
Wow. All right. I can't wait to see that. And Amanda, slightly different kind of a shot going on. We've got Jeff in the background.
He is in the background.
We got. There's all kinds of stuff that Amanda's going to be sharing with us today. But
I can't wait to show off the shack. I'm so excited. We used to share a shack with a laundry room and all kinds of things, and it was a cluster at best. So now I get to show it off what we've been doing over the holiday break. But Happy New Year, everybody. So glad to be here.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
I can't wait for what 2024 brings. It sounds like to a lot of people, they're going to be out there doing their POTAs. But anyhow, hi, everyone in the chat room. We've got a great show tonight, as Gordo basically put it down on paper for you. Orlando and to space. There you go. That's all you need to know. So stick around. We'll be getting your questions and handing them over to our guest tonight. And stay tuned because we got a great show for you. So with that, Gordo, I'm going to send it your way.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda. And we are headed for space. And boy, I remember the good old days when Owen Garriott aboard W5LFL was doing his first shot around the world. And we were part of many of them that worked them. And now that legacy continues with Frank Bauer, KA3HDO. Frank, thank you for all you do to keep the Amateur Radio International Space Station program really rolling well. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, thank you. And Happy New Year, everybody. I will say that it isn't me. It is this whole international volunteer team that makes ARIS work the way it does. And we're very, very proud of every individual volunteer that we have in our team, as well as all of our sponsors that help us, including ARL, AMSAT, NASA, and ARDC, and ISS National Lab as examples. So I did want to talk a little bit about exactly what you described, Gordo, which is this historic activity where we're at the 40th anniversary of Owen Garriott's flight. And so I'm going to share my screen here and talk through a couple of these slides that I have, and then what we're going to do relative to celebrating that situation. So give me 1 minute here. Can you all see my screen?
Oh, we can. You look good.
Okay. Yes, so, Gordo, as you said, and I love your QSL card, 40 years ago, astronaut Owen Garriott, W5LFL, transformed the world by actually talking through amateur radio on a human spaceflight vehicle. In other words, the space shuttle at the time. And
here's what it sounded like.
Calling CQ for other stations, calling W5LFL in the spacecraft Columbia. We're approaching the California coast at this time, and I'll be tuning the band for the next 90 seconds to receive calls for W5LFL spacecraft Columbia. Over.
That's really cool. And the situation is that when that happened, because I was much younger back then, but I was engaged in this mission, supporting it. And when that happened, this totally transformed how people could talk to the astronauts. Because before that, the only way they could talk to the astronauts, the only ones that could talk to the astronauts were certain individuals in mission control. In other words, the Capcoms or the heads of state. And, in other words, the president of the United States, if you will. And so now the general public can do that. And so from SAREX, the shuttle program, and then to Mir, and then to International Space Station, for 40 years, volunteers have been supporting things like school contacts, friends and family connections, deployment of satellites like the SUTSAT, and all kinds of things that really we innovated. The amateur radio community innovated and are now being emulated by others. So it's a pretty cool experience. And Gorda, what was your impression in the day when that all happened?
Boy, we were so thrilled to be able to work the first space shuttle carrying amateur radio. It was a real thrill. And thanks to Rosalie White, K1STO, that works with you, that had us all ready and beamed up during those years. Absolutely.
And the anticipation leading up to Owen's flight was so contagious, and people were doing all kinds of things to make that first contact. And then it happened, and then we are where we are today, where we're actually on space station. We've had almost 1,600 different contacts with schools all around the world. So really amazing what we've done in those few years.
And so those school contacts, Frank, they are so special for kids because they can ask those aboard the International Space Station, can you grow anything in space?
Hi, this is Kenna, Kilo Indio 7, Delta, Delta, Delta. Are you able to grow plants in the ISS? Over.
Yes, I was able to grow some lettuce not too long ago, and then one of my colleagues now, Thomas Pesquet, the French astronaut, is growing some mustard seeds and some lentil seeds.
So kids really get turned on to ham radio when they're able to actually talk to an astronaut in space aboard the ISS, Frank?
Absolutely. And many youth actually listen in on some of these contacts when they come overhead in their area too. So we try to let them do as much as they can, let our youth do as much as they can not only in the time frame they have to talk to the astronaut, but actually to hear other schools talk to astronauts. So with this 40-year span of doing this human spaceflight activities, we're going to have a celebration down at the Kennedy Space Center in February. Just about 10 days after HamCation, which I'm sure everyone's going to hear about in just a few minutes. And what we're going to do is we have our international delegates meeting during that time. People have the opportunity to do tours of the visitor center, the Kennedy Space Center. We are planning on having keynote speakers, astronauts, and space agency officials there, as well as hearing from the youth and the educators, the alumni that have actually done school contacts in the past. And our, ARIS represents three major objectives. Education, of course, is the highest, but to make that happen, we have to fly hardware in space. So we have an engineering team and an operations team to actually make the contacts happen. So we'll have all of that at this conference, and we're going to have a reception as well as a gala dinner. And I'll show you where. This is the venue we're going to be having the activities
wow.
at. Yeah, it's at the Center for Space Education. It is a very big facility. It's co-located. It's basically right on the property of the Kennedy Space Center, Visitor Center.
Boy, that's super, Frank. And you know, the International Space Station for crossband repeat, what a thrill.
Delta 6 Romeo Charlie November portable Delta Oscar 22. W Alpha 6, is it come again?
So lots of things happening up there in space. In fact, the League's new Radio Waves Education and Learning newsletter came out today. And Eliza Crokin, KC1TAP, ends it up by saying, partnership with ARISS. Indeed, the ARRL is making that happen. And Steve Goodman, K5ATA, really makes it happen when he takes those instructors and teachers and links them up with the ISS. Frank?
Thank you. And so for our activities for this conference, like I mentioned, our activities will start on February 20th and 21st with the ARIS International face-to-face meeting. That's kind of an activity with the delegates only. And then we've set up a day for individuals to take tours of the visitor center with an evening reception. And then we will have our 40th anniversary conference on Friday and Saturday, the 23rd and 24th of February. And on the evening of the 23rd, we're going to have a gala dinner under the Saturn V rocket.
Oh,
so
wow.
The Apollo Saturn V rocket, we're going to have a dinner there. So should be a very interesting celebration. We are working on astronauts coming to this. We have 3 right now with more invited. Astronaut Richard Garriott, of course, Owen Garriott's SK at this point. He passed away back in 2019. Tony England was the second individual to use ham radio in space after Owen. He's planning on coming. And Bill MacArthur has basically a long history with ham radio, starting on the Shuttle, on Mir. He utilized it on Mir, and then on the International Space Station. So, and he's the one, Josh, that was one of the 2 astronauts that threw the SuitSat overboard.
Oh,
how cool.
Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So,
and you know, we're also looking at the International Space Station. And if you want to quickly bring up that short shot, Josh, for just a second. This comes from Neil Hayes, W6FOG. And it'll probably take a second for it to come up. But this is the actual shot that he was able to get with his huge telescope out of Quartzsite, Arizona. So quite amazing that we can actually see the space station both with a telescope as well as the naked eye. Frank?
That is really cool. I love astrophotography. It's really cool, and he's doing a phenomenal job on some of the work he's doing. So I just want everyone to know that if you're interested in coming to the conference, you can go to aris.org, our website. You can click on the 40th anniversary tab, and there's all kinds of information in there on how to register, we have hotels and lined up with very good rates, given that this is in the middle of the high season in Florida with spring break and everything. And I can't, I'll get off the charts in a second here, but I couldn't not show you. We're all proud of our ham shacks, right? And Amanda's going to talk about that later. But make sure everybody knows this is the ham shack on the in the Columbus module, and on the right-hand side of this, where you see the spacewalk by one of the Japanese astronauts, you can see the Columbus module in the on the right there. And I have in red a little area, and that's where one of our antennas are. One of the 3 antennas on space station. So, Gordo, when you're talking about the voice repeater, this is the antenna we use for voice repeater. This past week, we did some experimentation. We actually operated slow scan television
And
through
we
the voice
saw it.
repeater. Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
So let me get out of this and back on. But yes, things are going really well in Eris. I'm so excited with what we're doing. We've got a lot of educational activities we're doing. We're developing radio. We've developed a radio kit, and we're handing that out to schools and things like that. So, our work is not, the contact is an outstanding 10-minute opportunity for the schools. That's the pinnacle. And everybody's, hair stands on end when that happens, because it's just such a phenomenal opportunity. But we spend 4 to 6 months beforehand getting the schools ready for their contact.
Well, that's great, Frank. And know that everybody is watching the International Space Station, either live and direct, or as we may see here on the short shots, that's Neil tuning in his big telescope to be able to pick up all the activity. So thanks, Neil, W6FOG, for that. So, Frank, let's see what we have for maybe questions from the chat room that Amanda has brought in. Thank you again, Frank, for being here tonight with us. And we sure hope to see a lot of folks down there for that 40th anniversary. So go ahead, Amanda, now.
Oh, well, thank you. The first question is, what are the dates for this?
Okay, so the conference itself will be the 22nd through the 24th of February. The 22nd, we're going to have an evening reception, so it'll be the evening of the 22nd. And then the 23rd and the 24th are the conference. The 23rd in the evening, we're having our gala dinner.
Very good. Just to mention, Eris and such, I'm helping a school, Thrive Homeschool, make a contact the end of this month. We're getting the equipment next week.
Yep.
And we're going to go set it up. And Yvonne, the principal there, is really, really excited. And so am I. And we're cutting it very, very razor thin close here. But I'll tell you what, these kids are very deserving of making this contact. And I think they're as ready as they can be. And they're very excited. And so is all of the schools. So I can't wait to be a part of it. And of course, we'll see it here on Ham Nation because I'll be recording all of it. But let's see, what else? Frank, what got you into this, and what makes you do it?
Yeah, for 40 years. So I guess, I got my ham radio license a while back, and I was really interested. Of course, I worked at NASA at the time, and they had the opportunity to allow to actually do. In 1983, we didn't have internet, and we didn't have, a very good way of getting the word out on Owen's flight. So I was the president of the Goddard Amateur Radio Club, and we did what was called shuttle retransmissions. Gordo might remember that. Basically, we ran 3 to 5 stations, HF 1,000 watts, plus a VHF at the local DC area, because this is in Maryland. And all around the world to basically to let people hear the space shuttle as it was going on, and then also to provide bulletins. We were getting them from Johnson Space Center, from the Johnson Radio Club that built the hardware with Motorola, and we were sending out bulletins and sending out Keplerian elements for the very nascent computers that people had, personal computers. They had the Apple IIs and Sinclairs and things like that.
It was before the Packard Bells and Gateways, that's for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Way before, right. And so that's what got me started. I wanted to bring both amateur radio and space to people, and that's why I'm involved today. It's just amazing to see all the things we do around the world. You're talking about the Thrive Homeschool Academy. That one's coming up. We've got another one coming up in Alabama about the same time frame. We are next on
on station is actually Axiom 3. We're involved with the commercial space station folks because we want to keep this program moving from, Roy Neal taught me many years ago, K6DUE, because he led a lot of this activity early on, that we wanted to move amateur radio as human spaceflight evolves. So, starting with Shuttle, and then, NASA got involved with Mir. Now we're on International Space Station. For low Earth orbit, we want to do commercial space stations and beyond lunar activities.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, that's
Maybe
great.
Mars. So that makes me think, when it is commercial, we might get some better funding to put some better equipment or more accessible equipment, because the taxpayers aren't paying for it at that point in time, right? So it might be even cooler.
So we'll see. It's definitely a different business model, and we're trying to understand it ourselves. And because we want to keep amateur radio alive in space. And
Terrific.
Yeah.
And so our AMSAT team, our AMSAT sponsors, do the robotic spacecraft. We do the human spaceflight area. Aris does the human spaceflight arena with the astronauts. So we want to keep that going all the way out to Mars. There is an award, there's an ARL award out there for the first ham contact from Mars. So
Wow.
maybe someone will get that.
There you go.
You didn't know that?
Cool.
Yeah.
You didn't know
I
that?
did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, thanks so much, Frank. We sure appreciate you coming on
Yeah.
and giving us the look from space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank
Frank.
you so much for mentioning Roy Neal, K6DUE. He was such an
K6
integral part of the Newsline team and such a
know.
cheerleader for amateur radio and space and the space program. And I mean, he was the voice and the face of NBC News during all that going on. So yeah, Roy is greatly missed by those of us in the Newsline team.
Yeah,
so thank you so much for mentioning him.
Thanks, Frank.
Absolutely.
Thank
I feel
you, Frank.
privileged to have been able to work with him. Thank you.
Yeah, we need to have you on more often. Tell us what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to leave Frank now, and we're going to go to Mike and Michael out there in Orlando. How you doing, Mike and Michael?
Doing real well.
Good. Let's see. I'm
Really
trying to
good.
see your faces. Okay, there you are.
You got Michael there too?
I
think
have
you're
Michael.
all there. Yep.
Okay, there you are. So Mike and Michael are with HamCation, and they had to be in separate places tonight, but they have the same MO here. So they're going to tell us a bit about some awards they're giving out, and also why we should all be booking a flight to Orlando next month. So who wants to take it, Mike or Michael?
I'll let Mike take the award part of it, and I'll do the other half of it.
All right. Thank you, Michael. First, I'd like to thank the HamNation Live team here, Josh, Amanda, Don, and Gordon for having us on, and Frank.
Our pleasure.
Much appreciated to give us this opportunity to turn around and talk about HamCation and the awards that we present each year. We've got 2 awards that we present, and the goal behind that is to recognize some of the awesome volunteers that we've got in the amateur radio community. So, I mean, a lot of these folks, everybody with an amateur radio is every time you turn around, you just see more and more volunteering and promoting the hobby, which is just awesome. So, the first award we've got is the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award. This award is intended to be bestowed upon an individual that's made outstanding contributions, educating and advancing youth in amateur radio. The award was first presented at HamCation 2019 to the actual namesake, Carol Perry, WB2 MGP, in honor of her work that she's been doing educating. So, retired teacher, but she hasn't slowed down one bit. You go to another amateur show, she's probably doing a forum there with the youth. So she's which is great, and really promoting and trying to get the youth into our hobby. So some of the criteria that goes into this when we take a look at selecting an individual is finding someone that is turning around and showing the youth all the different facets and operating modes of amateur radio. They're just not picking one segment and just focusing on that. They're really trying to give them a broad spectrum of how wide and diverse this hobby is. They use creative approaches. They model high values, so they can actually almost be a role model for the students, for our youth. So, and just a lot of enthusiasm for, recruiting and bringing youth into the radio communications, and hopefully studying to get a license and continue on and potentially getting a career within the radio technologies. So with that, on the Carol Perry Award, Michael and I, on behalf of HamCation, are excited to announce that Louis Malchik, N2RQ, as the HamCation 2024 recipient of the Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award. So wow. Lou is an extra class licensed. He's the co-founder of the school roundup that occurs twice a year. And he's got participants ranging from elementary schools to universities, and the roundup continues to keep growing and growing. Speaking with Lou, one thing I found was very interesting. He's been active with the school roundup on every session that they've had over the last more than 25 years.
Wow.
So talk about being consistent and always being there for them. That's great. While he's a retired teacher, he's still continuing. He's an advisor for the radio club W2CXN at the Brooklyn Tech High School. And then he's also the trustee for the Styroness High School Radio Club W2CLS. So even though he's retired, he's not slowing down one bit. So he's staying very active with the youth. He's still currently the chairman of the Long Island Mobile Amateur Radio Club Education Committee. And that same club, as we were talking about space here just recently, has sponsored 5 AIRS contacts, which Lou has participated in each one of them. So Lou has been spending his lifetime educating children and youth on amateur radio. So we're thrilled to turn around and recognize Lou for the HamCation's Carol Perry Educator of the Year Award for 2024. So if you see Lou along the way, give him a big congratulations for that. So
congratulations, Lou! Yay, everybody!
Yeah. Congrats!
Good stuff.
And then the next one, our next award, is one of our show host here, the Gordon West Ambassador of the Year Award.
I know that dude.
Pardon?
I know that dude.
Yes,
I
we
might
do.
know him too.
So this award is bestowed on an individual who represents, inspires others, and embodies the amateur radio spirit, making outstanding contributions to the amateur radio community. It was first awarded last year in honor of Gordon for his contributions to the community. So some of the things that we take a look at in this award is consider the service performance and activities undertaken for the needs of service and activities performed. Consider creative, unique, innovative characteristics of the nominee's service and quality of service. The breadth of the amateur radio ambassador's contributions. Consider how long they've been doing it, the degree of service, the community benefiting it directly and indirectly. So, and then the the impact of the ambassador's service. Consider how they extend the nominee's actions would be recognized and valued by their peers in their community. So, and for this award, Michael and I, on behalf of the HamCation, are excited to announce that Fred Kemmer, AB2OC, and Anita Kremer, AB2QB, as the HamCation 2024 recipients of the Gordon West Ambassador of the Year Award. So Fred and Anita both are extra class licensees. They've been very active up in the Northeast in the Nashua Area Radio Society, promoting amateur radio instruction, youth outreach, and STEM education. They ended up creating and have grown what's referred to as Ham Boot Camp program. And they've encouraged over 900 hams to learn new skills, at least up in their area. That probably does not include other areas that have taken on the boot camp structure and promoted that. Both are active in the club's training and licensing, and they augment their club meetings with what they call Tech Night, which turns around and opens up a new skill or focuses on a new skill to share with the members of the club there. Outside the club, they're involved in STEM activities. They've done some high altitude balloon launches, fox hunts, and more AIRS contacts. So AIRS is getting a lot of airtime tonight, which is great. So they've supported many schools, just not in the area, but internationally. So I started taking a look at some of the number of contacts they've made, and every time I looked, the number kept changing. So I'm not even guess how many they participated. So, but they're both extremely active, which is awesome. And then you know, just you look at that and he says, okay, what else can he do? Well, Fred's the ARL director for the New England division. Okay, so he's got a very full plate there, and so he also chairs and contributes to several subcommittees. Anita serves as an assistant division director for mentoring and new ham development. So they are just continuously going through and saying, how can we share and get people involved in amateur radio? So a lot of kudos for the two of them. So all around, congratulations to Lou and to RQ, Fred, AB2OC, and Anita, AB2QB, for being selected for this year's HamCation Awards. So
wow.
Congrats.
So,
I can't, I've got to send out an invite to have them all on. Yeah, so we can hear from the heart what they're doing for amateur radio. So thank you, Mike, for sure. Anything else you want to share? Or you want to toss it over to Michael?
Well, what I'd like to do is also thank everyone that's submitted nominations for the HamCation Awards. Greatly appreciated. We will keep the nominations that weren't down selected. We'll carry them over into next year. So if anything, ask that the people update the information they provided on the individuals. We had a lot of great individuals that were nominated. It'd be nice to turn around and recognize them all. But we're going to keep them in the running for next year and see what additional award nominees we get in the following year. So again, thank you to the HamNation Live team for allowing us to announce our HamCation Awards on your show. It is greatly appreciated. And with that, I'll pass it over to Michael now.
Okay, Michael's going to tell us all why we should be booking flights to Orlando. Take it away, Michael. Thanks for being here.
All right, first, thank you all for allowing us on the show tonight. And, let me congratulate Lou and Fred and Anita for winning two great awards at HamCation. The biggest thing people say in Florida in February is the weather. We have very nice weather in Florida in February. So come down. Our cool days down here are usually in the 60s. Our event is actually February 9th, 10th, and 11th, 2024, this year. If you have an RV, we have over 200 RV spots on property to host RVs. And I can tell you right now, we're close to probably about 170, 180 right now. We do have over 300 tailgate spots for your outside vendors that want to sell stuff from their vehicle. We have over 300 swap tables.
Looks like your video's off, Michael. That might have just been a misclick, but if you want to, it's okay either way. We can keep going.
Yeah, we got a still shot of you up, so either way.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, somehow I lost the video. Still hear me?
It's okay. Yeah,
absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right, so we actually have over 300 swap tables, and I can actually let you know we only have 5 swap tables left available.
Wow.
Yeah, so everybody's taking advantage of the indoor swap area. And we do have a full house for commercial vendors this year. I'll name a few of our new vendors that are coming this year. We have several international vendors coming. Dark is going to be here this year, which is the German amateur radio. RSGB will be here also this year.
Wow.
Big Galley Key will be back this year again.
Nice.
So Ham Radio Prep is a new vendor we have. Dakota Lithium, which is a company that does batteries, getting in the amateur radio side for batteries. They do a lot of marine and RV batteries right now. Kenwood USA will be back at HamCation this year. Another big one that is Long Island CW Club will actually have a booth promoting CW there. And PrepCom will be here this year. With that, also a couple sponsors that we had this year. Gigaparts stepped up to be a platinum sponsor this year, and actually PrepCom stepped up to be a bronze sponsor. The other big thing that will be back this year is the ARRL event app. If you go to the front page of our website, you can download it. They are starting to populate it here now with information. So that's a free app that will pretty much navigate you through HamCation. It will show you your forums, where they're at, times, listings. It will show you all your winners for prizes. All information about HamCation will be on that app. And it's a joint venture between us, Hamvention, and ARRL.
Terrific.
So it's a really good one. The other big thing that we started several years ago, which has been a really good hit, is the kit build with Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB. This will actually be February 7th, which is Wednesday night at 6 p.m., actually in our swaps building. So if you want to build a kit, please go on the website under other events or affiliated events, and you can actually sign up to build the kit. The other biggest thing we're going to do this year, on Sunday, it will be free admission to everyone. You do not need a ticket to come to the show on Sunday. So you'll still have to have a ticket. You'll go to the ticket booth. They will actually give you a ticket for the show. So hopefully this will get new hands involved, people that just don't want to spend the money, not able to come other than a few hours on Sunday. So that's pretty much everything I had to cover right now.
Hey, Michael, how many people went last year?
Last year we had, don't quote me, I think it was like 23,000 something.
Wow.
Wow. Great turnout.
That is a great turnout. And you're probably expecting more this year?
Yeah, so far this year we're doing really good on numbers. So it's hard to say for sure, but our pre-sales are up. So we're hoping to be closer to pre-COVID numbers again.
Good.
That's fantastic. And I take it you have everything you need there, the food trucks, everything, places to
Correct.
stay.
We have everything on site. There's food to eat, pretty much from drinks to full meals, hamburgers, hot dogs, all your fair stuff. Of course, ATM machines located all throughout the area of HamCation. Free parking. We do have parking on site. All parking is on site. It is free. We do have golf cart shuttles that go from the parking lots to the ticket booths to drop people off. Also this year, we are bringing in a new scooter rental company. This company actually was with us many years ago, and they are coming back to fill the needs of scooter rentals and wheelchair rentals, anything that anybody wants. That information is actually on the website also. It is called Yellow Scooter. Wow. So you'll be seeing a bunch of yellow scooters running around HamCation this year.
That's great. And so who are some of your sponsors and how many volunteers do you have that help you put this together?
Volunteers, it takes between 300 and 400 volunteers to pull off the show. Over the actually, it's about a week that we're there. So the other big thing, we do have a special event station set up, and we will be using W1AW stroke 4 again this year for it.
Great. Now, I think some people in this room are going, Gordo, you go, right?
Yeah, I'm sure going to try.
Okay. And Josh, you're going this year with the YouTubers?
I am going, yes.
Awesome.
You know, I feel like the odd man out because I've never been to Orlando.
Oh, you'll love it.
I know. I need to go. It's just it's in February. It's but here's the thing. I'm not that far away. I'm in South Mississippi. And if you got to be somewhere in the lower 48, in the dead of freaking winter, Orlando's not a bad place to be.
No.
I have not been there, but you guys know I have all of the Dayton and Xenia lanyards. I have a lanyard fetish. Well, I do have this one, even though I haven't been. So I am rocking the lanyard every now and then when I go to
Ham Valor? Is that
I got
it?
It's a bucket list thing for me to get down there one of these years.
You should, but it's also Mardi Gras time, so it's hard, right?
That's another thing. Yeah, that's right. It's tough to get away for that. So.
There was a question in the chat really fast since we're on me. There was a question of like where's everybody staying? I know that a lot of YouTubers are staying at the Rosin Inn International or Rosin Inn International. Specifically the one that's on 7600 International Drive. By the way, almost everything's on International Drive if you're talking Orlando, so you got to make sure that you're at the right hotel. We got a bunch of mix-ups of that last year, but Rosin Inn International.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any space flights out that weekend, but that's too bad because that would be cool too. But there's definitely plenty for the family to do while you're at HamCation. So, think about it.
Yeah.
Michael, anything else you need to add?
I may want to comment on forums. I'm sure those have filled up too. Full list of forums going.
Is live on the website now. So we have lots of forums going on Friday and Saturday. So we'll have 3 forum tents set up, clear span tents, and an open area also on Saturday for our busier day. So we are still filling them in, but this is our preliminary list of forums to start off with so far. But if you just, everybody keep a watch on the website, hamcation.com. It gets updated almost weekly now throughout the show of new stuff that's happening. One thing I did forget to mention, the special event station with W1AW is actually sponsored by ICOM. So we will have a 7610 over there for people to come and test out also.
Nice.
Good deal.
All right. Well, Mike and Michael, thank you so much for being here. I know you have your meetings on the Wednesdays that we have our show, so I appreciate you taking some time out to do this, especially this late at night. So we'll catch up with you, and I know Josh will be going live from HamCation when he's there.
I will be.
Yeah. Just watch a Ham Radio Crash Course, and
I'll be living vicariously through the rest of you. So
I know, me too. I think I'm going to Santa Barbara that weekend, actually.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's not a bad place to be.
There, as long as it's not rainy. We'll see. Anyhow, all right. Well, guess who's up now? The man of the hour, Don.
Oh,
what you got for us?
No, I think it's ICOM.
No, let's back up.
Yeah, let's hear from ICOM first.
Yeah, let's do that.
Searching for the perfect holiday gift? This holiday season, make your gatherings merrier, your message clearer, and your connection stronger with ICOM. Whether inside the ham shack or on the air in the great outdoors, ICOM has what's at the top of your favorite ham's wish list. The ID 5100AD is innovation and mobility taken to the next level. Designed from user input, the ID 5100AD offers an intuitive user interface experience with an industry-leading touchscreen display. This radio is one of the most advanced dual-band mobiles on the market today. The ID 52A is a VHF-UHF dual-bander with D-Star and FM dual functions and is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display. The new ID50A gives hours of fun and enjoyment working your favorite bands. Easy D-Star settings, band scope and waterfall display, voice messaging, share picture function, and it uses the same optional accessories as the ID52A, ID51A, and ID31A. Explore the world of microwave with ICOM's new SHF portable, the IC905. This all-mode rig covers 2 meters through 70 centimeters, 1.2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, 5.6 gigahertz bands, and with the optional CX10G transverter, 10 gigahertz. Aim higher and enter the world of SHF. The IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. This is the radio that changed the way entry-level HF was designed. The real HF fun starts here. For the mobile and outdoor aficionados, ICOM's IC7100 is road ready. at home or wherever you roam. Happy holidays from ICOM. For more information about ICOM's amateur radios and to locate a dealer, visit icomamerica.com/amateur.
And thanks again, ICOM, for supporting the sponsorship for HamNation. Boy, hey guys, just a reminder, I am sick and I am on the codeine cough medicine. So trying to run a show while also
You're
being
doing
sick,
fine.
Man, I'm getting all kinds of tongue-tied. But thanks again to ICOM. We really do appreciate you. Every time we go live, we do a giveaway for 3 swag packs. And at the end of the month, ICOM gives away one of these sweet radios. I don't think this list has been updated yet for 2024, so don't hold them accountable on that. But the next time we go live in the month of January, we will be picking a winner for a radio. With that said, the winners of the swag pack giveaway are Chad WKD9WAX, Wax, KD9 Wax, I like that, Daniel F, NN30, and Joe B WB9VVH. So all you got to do, click on that Enter Now button at the link in the description, hamnation.icomamerica.com. Provide some information, and you're entered to win, and you could win one of these swag packs. If you win a swag pack at the end of the month, your name goes into the drawing to potentially win a radio. So that's all it takes, and we appreciate ICOM for all the support. Now it's time to go talk to Don because, man, there's a lot of news, isn't there?
There is. There's always a lot of news, and there's a lot of solar news going on right now. And Dr. Tamitha Skov will have everything that you want to know about what went on over New Year's weekend right after we hear from the crew at Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2409, this is Ham Nation Headlines for Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. As the new year dawns, we bring you a top story that looks to the future. We tell you about 2 big de-expeditions happening down under, and both take plenty of planning and resources.
The year 2024 is a big year of planning for a de-expedition to Peter I Island, which ranks 8th in Club Log's most wanted DXCC list. Like Bouvet Island, this remote volcanic island is one of 3 Norwegian territories in the sub-Antarctic and Antarctic region. Another high-profile de-expedition taking place a year before Peter I Island. That is, the 3Y0K de-expedition in January 2025 for Bouvet Island, the 11th most wanted on the Club Log list. This expedition will reuse much of the equipment from the previous year's trip to Bouvet and is also sharing the website being used by 3Y0K. As fundraiser for Peter I Island gets underway in just a few weeks, the group is concentrating on securing a landing permit from the Norwegian Polar Institute. The team has reported it's found a ship and it has 2 onboard helicopters. In addition to being a coveted DX, Peter I Island carries the IOTA designation of AN004. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
This year marks the 18th year for Straight Key Month, a celebration of traditional communication from the Straight Key Century Club. Don't have a straight key? Well, you can get in on the action anyway.
Just as some CW operators think they can rest their fist following the conclusion of the ARRL Straight Key Night on the 1st of January, others are preparing for a Straight Key Month. The popular event from the Straight Key Century Club is a leisurely and friendly activity. The goal is to contact as many other operators as you can via CW, not just throughout the United States, but around the world. There are various categories in which operators can set their goal. You don't need to be an SKCC Club member to participate. In fact, you don't even need to use a straight key. Will you get a basic sweep, a full sweep, or a grand sweep? See the SKCC website at skccgroup.com and click on the link for SKCC Straight Key Month, which appears under the heading of activities. Each year, club members compete to produce a design for the event's official QSL card. This year's winning card will also mark the 18th anniversary of the SKCC. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Amateur Radio on the ISS is collecting stories and videos that help tell the story of ham radio in space during the past 4 decades.
If you've ever had contact with amateur radio on the International Space Station, get ready for Florida in February. The ERIS organization is reaching out to educators and former students, asking them to send in stories and videos explaining the impact that important QSO with the orbiting astronauts has had on their lives. The stories will become part of the 40th Anniversary Educational Contact Conference taking place at the Center for Space Education near the Kennedy Space Center's Visitor Center from February 22nd to the 24th. Both educators and former students are being asked to fill out a form online providing details. ARIS is celebrating the occasion, which marks 40 years since astronaut Owen Garriott, W5LFL, made the first amateur radio contact from space on board the Space Shuttle Columbia. To share your story, follow the link that appears in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. I'm Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Graham Kemp, VK4BB, Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, Dave Parks, WB8ODF, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now, here's the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Skov, WX6SWW.
The biggest X-class flare of this solar cycle thus far brings us a super solar storm that could give us a bit of aurora. Those stories and more in the spotlight. Space weather this week starts off the new year with a bang. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, we had been paying close attention to this coronal hole because it's been sending us some fast solar wind and giving us a little bit of aurora. In fact, it's bumped us up to active conditions as of right now. But that's not the only story. We also had a filament launch here in the south. Whoosh, there it goes. We had another filament launch in the north. You can see it go whoosh right there. We even had a third filament right in this region that also lifted off in a glorious display. Whoosh, there it goes right there. But that is not the only story as well. If we recall, we can see all the bright regions on this limb. Last week, this was the set of regions that was a big dark cluster that was rotating into Earth view. Well, here they come. Region 3536 is our old friend 3514, and it did not disappoint. Late on the 31st, it fires off the biggest, bam, right there, X-class flare of our solar cycle. This was nearly an X5 class flare at X4.98, and it gave us a huge radio blackout over the Western Hemisphere, mainly centered in the Southern Hemisphere, but it actually caused issues for South America as well as North America and even Australia and a bit of the Asian Pacific, as you can see right there. In fact, this radio blackout was not just an R3 level, but it actually gave us radio bursts clear up into about 200, a little bit higher than 200 megahertz. We saw it in Mexico. We also saw the radio burst in Australia. Here's a strong radio burst up to 80 megahertz. But then when we look at even higher frequencies, you can see it goes up even higher, up into the mid 200s before it's, kind of fizzles out. So we didn't get anything up to affect GPS level signals or affecting anything like the ADS-B transponders for aircraft, thank goodness. But it does hearken and let you know that these radio bursts can get pretty intense. Even in America, in Arizona, we saw some strength in those radio bursts in there, up to about 60 or even higher megahertz. So definitely radio communications has been impacted from this radio burst, but it has died off. And then on top of that, we had a massive solar storm launch. This was a super solar storm that, of course, you'd think is just going to go eastward of Earth because it's basically on the limb of the sun. But when we take a look at the blast wave, and this is due to Halo CME, who is part of the AIA team on the SDO spacecraft, you can see this incredible coronal wave that ripples all the way to center disk on the sun. That means that the solar storm is actually wide enough that it could actually impact Earth. So when we take a look at the coronagraphs, now the coronagraphs here show, you see this big halo right here. It begins to launch outward. This thing becomes a full, like a major partial halo. It's covering almost 180 degrees off this disk, which once again means we could easily get clipped by this solar storm. So believe it or not, despite the fact that it's on the east limb, this superstorm is big enough to give us a bit of a bump. So we are going to be expecting that here over the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, as we continue watching this set of regions rotate into view, there are several of these regions that are following suit. They are also being a bit flare active, and you can see as we take a look at the magnetic mixing of these regions, there's a lot of complexity there, and it's continuing to remain. Even through the big X-class flare, it did not calm down this magnetic mixing, so it does look like this region and the couple regions behind it are going to be big flare players easily over the rest of this week. So amateur radio operators and emergency responders and even you GPS users, be aware we could have R3 level radio blackouts over the next few days and possibly longer. Now, switching to our solar storm conditions and aurora possibilities over the coming week, we are anticipating the hit from that big solar storm that was associated with that X-class flare, and high latitudes NOAA is expecting major storm conditions with up to about a 60% chance of a severe storm at high latitudes. By the 3rd, we should be kind of calming down to minor storm conditions because we're not expecting this storm to last all that long. By the 4th, things should definitely be settling back down and getting back to mostly quiet. But remember, because we have that cluster of active regions that are very flare active and are launching solar storms, this latter half of this solar storm forecast you should definitely take with a grain of salt. It could change very quickly. Now, if we switch to solar storm conditions at mid-latitudes, we're only expecting active conditions, but we have up to about a 25% chance of a minor storm, and then by the 3rd, things will probably be settling down. Now, we do still have a chance of a minor storm. Remember, this storm could actually hit Earth a little bit later than anticipated. So if that's the case, it would shift this kind of one day forward. But still, as we go into the rest of the week, expect that conditions could change very quickly because we do have those big regions on the sun that are shooting solar storms, and they're going to be rotating into that Earth strike zone pretty soon. So aurora photographers, if you don't get a good show with this particular storm, well, just hang in there. There might be one coming. Now, switching to our solar flare and dayside radio blackout outlook over the coming week, we do have a few active regions in Earth view. That's why our solar flux is remaining high. You'd expect it to be a bit higher, but there's really not that many active regions. The main one is region 3536, as you've saw with that big X-class flare. This means moderate noise is remaining on the dayside radio bands, and that will continue. In fact, NOAA's giving us about a 60% chance of an R1 to R2 level radio blackout. That's an M-class flare, and even a 25% chance of X-class flares over the next 3 days. And I've extended that out to be about 50% for R1 to R2 level radio blackouts as we move into the end of the week, and calming down a little bit with the X-class flares, mainly because the complexity, the magnetic complexity of region 3536 will likely be settling down here over the next few days, but expect radio blackouts to continue to be on the menu on Earth's day side. So the space weather this week has gotten very active. We are anticipating the hit from that big solar storm that was launched back on New Year's Eve. Now, it's going to be a glancing blow, so it may not last all that long. But aurora photographers, if you're at high latitudes, you definitely could start off the new year in a beautiful way with some gorgeous aurora views. Aurora photographers at mid-latitudes, well, we could get a fleeting show, but only if you're dedicated should you chase. And now amateur radio operators and emergency responders, well, with that big cluster of active regions rotating into Earth view and old region 3514 kicking it off with X-class flares, that tells you that R3 level radio blackouts are back on the menu, and they're even coming up into the VHF level, possibly potential for UHF level disruptions as well. So understand, on Earth's day side, you're going to have these radio blackouts, and it's probably going to last all week, so just kind of hang in there. Now, GPS users, well, you know, we have this glancing blow from the solar storm, plus these radio blackouts that could definitely give you some signal reception issues. So if you're on Earth's night side anytime during that solar storm, anywhere near aurora, just stay vigilant, and also anywhere near dawn or dusk near those terminators, because that could be an issue for reception too. And make sure, if you are a drone flyer, that you calibrate your magnetometers often. I'm Tamitha Skov, the Space Weather Woman. Thank you for watching.
Let me tell you something. If this report alone doesn't show you how important and what an asset Dr. Tamitha Skov is to the amateur radio community, then quite frankly, there's something wrong with you, and I'm not letting you in the house. You need to go to her Twitter feed at Tamitha Scove. You need to go, or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm old. It's still Twitter to me. Or you need to go on her YouTube channel and watch her videos. You need to go on spaceweatherwoman.com any way you can and message her, leave a comment telling her how much you appreciate her and your call sign, and let her know, because she is just amazing. And we are so fortunate to have her as part of A, the Ham Nation team, B, the Newsline team, and C, just amateur radio as a whole. She's so important to us for what she does. So go out and take a few minutes and let her know how much you appreciate her. And also to the Newsline team as well, thank you so much for everything that you guys have done. Well, since 1976, when Bill Pasternak put all that together. But wow, it's been a while, and I've been part of it since 1995. So yeah, it's enriched my life, that's for sure. Something else that's enriched my life is the folks here at Ham Nation, one of which is Amanda Alden, K1DDN.
Aw, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was just about to tell you were old. I
am old.
Take it all back.
Old. I'll be 64. I am old.
And I think Dr. T has maybe an anniversary coming up of when she first debuted on this show. I can't remember for sure, Donnie.
Yeah, but it's been a while. It's been several years.
Yeah, definitely. Well, everybody, guess what? I'm going to show you my shack.
You've been building.
All right, let's see it.
I have never done. Oh, okay, so Josh, first I put a link to some.
Oh my gosh!
The Facebook.
How long is that?
It is very long. Josh, did you? I put like a pre-photo on a Facebook link.
Okay, hold on. Then let me go back.
Okay.
Sorry, I spoiled.
Oh, it's fine. I didn't tell you.
Oh, you're sending me to Facebook? I haven't logged in here in how long?
Do you think it will just show the photos? I'm sorry.
Hold on.
At that. Wow.
It is pretty long.
I got it.
And don't worry, people. We're getting acoustic tiles in because we need.
It looks like an EOC.
Yeah. Okay. It is. Okay. This is how it started.
So every time you were in Ham Nation, you were sitting in front of
I was
computer.
sitting right there, and my washer and dryer were to the right of me. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a cluster and a half.
And you got that radio stack sitting next to you. Look at that.
Yeah, and it was awful. The amp was like really far away, and you couldn't tune very easily, and you had to turn sideways, and then you could see where the boom is, and it had to go. And there was a third monitor in there actually, like up above. So, but you can't see it in that photo. So go to the next one. It was kind of like demo day for us.
Oh.
Yeah. So
wow.
that's when we removed the washer and dryer. So then we had a couple of tables in there, and they were like, okay, so now we can't give up radio completely, so we're going to move all the radio stuff over to those two tables at the end. So that's what we did. And then we demoed all of that countertop and all of that cabinetry out. So if you go to the next shot. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Totally
so there's
gutted.
like tile, and then there was like where the cabinets were, there's no tile. So we had to deal with that. Catastrophe. And that's like the entrance. That's our garage. So through that door is our garage. Okay, next photo. We'll go through these real quick. So then we were like patching up the floor, and then we had all these holes from everything we put in there, and new boxes and stuff. So I'm not much of a drywall mudder, but I did my best. Okay, that's all I can say.
Better than I could do.
And then we painted. So that's the next photo, I think, is paints, and then the cabinets. All right, so let's take the tour. I'm going to mute this audio, and I'm going to go with Jeff's phone, who's filming here in the background, and we'll go through the tour. It's pretty cool, you guys.
And it is cheap.
Yeah, just one. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So let me get up, and we'll just keep moving back. Now, what you want to know first is, what are your countertops made out of? Well, this is melamine. It's actually for like walk-in closets and things like that, but we bought 4x4 sheets for $40 a piece, everybody. So you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on laminated countertops. This stuff is pretty nice. It's 3/4 inch, very nice, smooth white top, and it's very easily cuttable. So this one is only 25 inches, whereas the back cabinet is about 32 inches, I think is what we went with. So we wanted to make sure we had a setup where we could have numerous stations, or somebody could be on a computer just doing something while someone else was on the radio. That was important to us. So come check it out. So here we have our operating station. So we have the 3 monitors, obviously. You can see hamnation there. And we have our main station, the Icon 7610, and then the 705 on top of it, which will probably move for when we want to do different operations or get on repeater stuff, things like that. That will probably move over to here. But then we have our Kenwood amplifier, and I'll show you the power supply for that. We're thankful that we had the dryer in here because we had the extra 220 plugs, so we can.
There was a comment about that. The dryer was going to feed the amp, so there you go. Everybody who called that, you nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And our tuner, and obviously the lights for the show. We have our Davis weather station. We haven't found a final home for that. We mounted our outdoor TV in here. Right now it's on hamnation, but that way I can watch football or whatever while I'm on the radio. Got the mixer. This is just, let's go under, everybody. Let's check out some of the wiring.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, and we've added LED lighting. This is so cool. Just those LED strips are really cheap anymore. They're like $10 for like 16 feet. So you can see we put a wire rack down here that you would also use in your closet. And we have our PC here, our power supply for a radio, lots and lots of wiring, lots of networking. Did you know that ham radio takes so much networking? I sure as heck didn't.
For a wireless hobby, we sure have a lot of wires.
Exactly.
But where's the dog sleep?
Yeah, that's the question.
Well,
Where's the dog bed?
The dog's got to have his own bed.
I have a dog blanket right there.
Oh,
there you go.
Perfect. And they're usually in here, but Jeff locked them away. Our dummy load, look at that. Oh, he's trying to call them, but they're not coming. And our UPS right there over in the corner. My foot switch that was for a stapler that we stole from the print shop to make a foot switch for our radio. You know, you do what you have to do. All in all, I would say the investment so far, what, $300?
Wow.
I didn't put that much money into it.
Wow.
But we have our 10 gig, 10 meg, excuse me. Jeff, you can explain it?
That's a 10 meg frequency reference down to GPS, and I usually cable it to the 7610, not that you need exactly on frequency, but why not?
Well, if you're going to run FT8, why not?
Yeah, it helps. I suppose.
Yeah.
1 hertz accuracy.
It's not completely finished, and we have a lot to do. This is going to have more monitors mounted on this wall for the second computer station. This is where I can remote into work or whatnot. We have our SIP phones, VoIP phones. We have 2. So if we ever needed to help our EOC, we could have them route their phone numbers to us and we could answer remotely if we ever had a major emergency. This is seriously like a backup comm center if you wanted it to be one. We do need to add some more VHF and UHF, but we also have our console here that can monitor 8 different VHF or UHF repeaters or simplex, so we don't have to have all of those radios spread out here. We can just listen to this. If no one's familiar with it, it's usually a commercial based, but you can find them on eBay, fairly affordable anymore. As what you would think is missing is all of our radio chargers. We think they're ugly, so we don't want to muddy up our shack with them. So they're in another room because we have a lot of game chargers and that they would take up a lot of the room. So Jeff, anything I'm forgetting to mention about what we've done here or make this functional?
I think you covered it.
I think the only thing that we're still looking at a bus bar situation. So we have antenna plugins here inside instead of only outside. That's the only thing that we're looking at, maybe adding additional. So let me know what you think, viewers. And that's it. Yeah, as you can tell, it's a little echoey in here. Well, the sound tiles are coming, and I'll make them pretty, and I'll show them off, of course.
Yeah, looks good.
Very nice. Well
Great
done.
work, Amanda. Jeff.
Well, thank you. It was our whole vacation. That's all we did. All right,
That's a
let
good
me plug
project.
back into my normal mic,
All right.
and we'll go from there. Thank you,
Good
Jeff.
project. Thanks, Jeff.
Good job, Jeff.
That's twice now. He's been a good cameraman. Give him a camera anytime.
Tired.
Yeah, I think you
All right.
mentioned a bus bar, but that's likely for your grounding or some kind of that kind of setup.
Well, yeah. So we actually put a grounding situation. We Jeff drilled a hole through the floor, and sunk one in before we put the countertops in.
Oh wow,
Nice.
there you
Yeah,
go.
so he has one right here. But yeah, the bus bar thing is, the copper plates and stuff, so we can unplug antennas from inside. Colorado, Florida, places like that experience a lot of lightning, we unplug a lot. So we always want to have that option quickly instead of having to. We have one outside underneath our porch, but when it's cold and it's 5 below or whatever, like don't want to go plug in the antenna out there. We can just plug it in here. So.
Do you guys get a lot of lightning? I didn't know that about Colorado.
Oh yeah. Florida, I think, is number 1. Colorado might be in the top 5.
Wow.
So, Utah, the dry places, Nevada. Yeah. Florida is different, obviously, because it's not dry, but they just get a lot of storms. So.
Yeah, sticking out in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean like that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks for sharing.
That's my shack. And,
great job.
Yeah, we're trying to make it as pretty as possible. But this has been a long time coming, and we're so happy.
It looks great.
Before we used to be scrunched in together like 2 chairs, and if Jeff had to get up to go like refill his drink or something, he constantly like bumped my chair, and I was just.
It also looked like there wasn't a lot of leg space underneath your last setup, because you had like drawers.
It was.
Yeah, and now you got like a full space you could slide around, and you got all kinds of room for project. That looks great. That's going to be awesome for you too.
Room for activities.
I have like all this room for like stickers and stuff, everybody. So send me your stickers, ICOM,
QSL
whatever.
Cards.
Yeah, QSL cards.
Yeah, of course. We didn't ask the important question. Where'd the washer and dryer go?
In my master closet. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
It's only the 2 of us, and we got a stackable, and it just makes sense to have it right there where you take and throw your clothes.
Right. Why you have to cart the clothes around when it's just going to go
across
into
the
the
house,
closet
yeah.
that it's in? Like that's the.
I know.
Right.
It sounds like you're winning on 2 fronts here.
And we didn't get a divorce.
That's what Jeff
Well, there you
said.
go.
Yeah, you made it
That's
through
a
without
plus.
any problems. That's good. That's great. Good job.
All right, we're winning.
That's great. Congratulations.
And all of our lights are dimmable, so it's really, I probably look really dark right now, but our overhead fluorescents are
just
LEDs.
follow the band plan. Get it set up to, like, as the day-night cycle progresses, it gets darker. And
Oh,
you get to
that's
80,
the other thing. I
slows
totally,
down and
As
goes,
the gray
gets more
line comes
yellow,
across.
gold, and gets darker. Yeah.
I need the Geochron now for the TV.
There you go.
screen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll show that off if I ever get one. And those are kind of expensive though. Okay, that's it. Let's wrap up the show, everybody.
Hey, you know what's just as fun as the Geochron?
What?
They got this little computer. It's called the Innovato Quadra. You can get it for like $40. I got one for Christmas, and it's got the
song.
Is
got
that
the ham clock
amazing?
on it. It's got the ham clock on it. Oh yeah. Here, hang on a sec. Let me do you a quick demo here real quick. I've got it on my big TV that I'm actually watching Hamnation on right now. But bear with me here real quick. Let me see this come up. I'm gonna move my camera and let you see what's going on over here.
This
in
is
the
a
side.
live dual handycam episode. Watch out.
know.
Look at that. Isn't that cool?
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
And how much does that cost, Don?
$40.
Well,
Oh, that's
and then whatever TV you plug it into. But
Yeah,
you probably
put it in
got
the,
something to kick it
I
around.
just happen to have a TV that we won at the company Christmas party last year that's been sitting in my garage for a year. And I said, well, hell, I'm bringing that in. I'm putting my ham clock on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Yeah, it's
you know
great.
what? We have some nuts coming up.
Yes.
We have 40 meters on 7192. Steve, W7UDI, I don't know where he's going to be. I think he's gone to 80 now. And we have D-Star that's probably been rolling for about the last 13 minutes. They're on 14 Charlie. So be sure to check in and tell them that they're doing a wonderful job. And also a Happy New Year. So thanks, everyone, for being here. And in 2 weeks, I don't know what we have going on yet, but I do have maybe a lady that would like to talk about her Parks on the Air activities. So look forward to that.
Quartz Fest is coming up too.
Oh,
that's right.
Quartz Fest. Yeah, we have to do the preview of Quartz Fest.
yeah.
Maybe we'll have Randy come on and talk a little bit too. All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks, Michael, Frank.
Everybody,
We
all our
appreciate
guests.
all
Thank
of you.
Thanks for helping us break in a new year.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Thanks,
All right.
Mike.
73, everybody. We'll see you
73.
in 2 weeks.
Happy New Year.
Cool.
Wow, great show, everyone.
Great
Yeah,
show.
man, you
Good
gotta
job.
get one of these things. Let me show you the